Hello, everyone, and thank you for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, especially if you like the diverse types of content you can find here. I was so happy that the Jacobs accepted my request for this interview and tour of their farm. The questions I asked are in the description. Please comment, and I will try to answer as many as possible. So sit back, enjoy the conversation, see the beautiful Maine countryside, and beautiful Angus cows. Thank you both for very much for allowing me into your home and letting me tour your farm.
Sure.
And just so people know, I purchased beef from Tom and Kathy a couple of years ago, and I've agreed to purchase another half a steer, and so everybody is aware of that right up from the get go. But again, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sure.
I've written up some questions,
Mhm.
and I did give that to them ahead of time. So, but I would like to get started. And Tom, you're pretty much you run this
Yeah,
operation, and
99% all by myself.
okay. And how long have you been doing it?
Six. Well, I was born. It was a dairy farm, but then after college, I didn't want to farm. Of course, I went to be a game warden for 33 years.
Okay.
And then when I retired, my mother was here, getting in the mid 80s. Says, well, she was getting, we needed help, so we decided to move back here to help her out. And I got bored, and I said, well, I'll get a cow. Well, I said, I better get two. 4 years later, I had six. And 3 years later, I had eight. And then they said I was breeding it, so I got up to 30 cows probably after 6 years.
Now, were those dairy cows, or were you?
They were beef, Angus beef cows.
Okay. And the how many do you currently have?
I'm back down to 10.
10.
And 3 calves, so you can say 13.
Okay. So that's quite an undertaking to take. And how many years ago was that?
To start
Mm-hmm.
was 16 years ago.
So you were not a young man when you did that.
No, I was in my late 50s.
50s. Okay.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Angus. You raise Angus beef.
Yeah. Yes.
And why did you pick Angus over another breed?
After doing a little bit of talking to other farmers that have cows, I decided that Angus grow, they're specifically bred for beef.
Mm-hmm.
And through the eons of breeding, you really get, to me personally, a lot tastier beef with Angus. And
Well, folks, I can tell you their beef is delicious. It looks 2 years, and we haven't finished it up just yet. We got to get a move on, but it looks the same as when they delivered it. What a really quality product.
Yeah. If I went in and deep talking of the different types of cows and the way the fat is put on them and the way the fat is in them, which gives you the flavor. That's why Angus comes out with better flavor. They get the fat throughout the meat, flecks of fat and everything that gives it flavor. Where if you like have an old Holstein, they're not bred to have fat on them. They're just bred to have milk.
Right.
And there won't be much fat on a Holstein cow when you kill it. So you just get a straight piece of meat. And it's kind of dry tasting to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cause I grew up on Holstein cows eating.
Oh, did you? Okay, yeah. Is that what your?
That's what we had, yeah, for dairy cows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many acres do you have for, because it's grass fed?
Yeah.
And, you graze them like during this time of the year. This is actually it's just into September now as we're recording this. Do you let them graze during the summer months?
Yeah, they're outside all the time,
Okay,
never in a van. I have probably 30 acres of pasture that I don't eat. And typically you need 2 acres of cow to graze. And that's gotta be good grazing for 2.
mm-hmm,
You have to have 2.5 acres. And so I got 30 acres and, but I hay another 100 acres.
so you have it to supplement all through the winter?
Yeah, I feed them, hay that I grow here to them all winter.
Okay, now do you take where they graze one year and put them off in a different spot rather than where you trade off haying areas for
No, because you gotta fence it.
that? And yeah,
So what I do is I'll keep them out back here where I feed them
mm-hmm,
come spring while the grass is growing, and across the road there when it gets to be a certain height, I mow that first because it's growing real fast, and like 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, I put them in that field that I just hayed.
mm-hmm,
So because it's growing so fast, then like I'll do that field down the road later in the week or the next week.
okay.
So that's
So
you sort of rotate them around.
you do move them around.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And then I got another place up the road that I open up after I hay that. So I got like really 3 areas that I move them around in throughout the summer. And this time of year the grass is quit growing, so.
Right. Well, and it's been very dry.
Yeah.
For 5 or 6 weeks, it's hardly rained at all. At least where I live.
Yeah, it's been bad here.
So one of the questions I wanted to ask you was about regenerative farming, and to me that sounds like what you, by moving them around, they don't sit in one spot where they tear up the soil. They work symbiotically in the way nature kind of designed a ruminant animal to do.
Yeah, I never let them eat the grass down very much. That's
Mhm.
why you see my grass is just tall, even right now, where most farmers are burnt up.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I got so much for them to eat that they don't stress the grass, because grass has to rest.
Of course.
It should rest in the fall, so it puts nutrients back in its roots, so it's ready for next spring.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't let them eat way down into. I'll start feeding them my hay way earlier than a lot of the people.
Okay, but you've got it.
Yeah.
You've hayed and put it away, and
Yeah.
so you have it. What's a typical day for you like? If it's because on my little vegetable produce farm, I'll go out and I have a mind to do what I want to do, and then something comes up. So how do you typically start your day? What is the normal?
Well, it goes by almost months. Like come April, I'm starting to fence. I have to do all the fencing because the snow load breaks the fences, or they just, a lot of posts are rotten. They're getting to be 15 years old now. And by doing it all myself, it takes me almost a whole month to do everything around there. Then you got to start getting your equipment ready, getting them all out, greased, oiled, change the oils, which takes being alone several days. So when you get up, you always got to be thinking, okay, what have I got to do today to get ready for tomorrow? And then once June comes, that's haying season, haylage. I wrap 100 bales of haylage.
Okay.
That's in the white bales.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll start early in June, sometimes the last week of May, haying. And so then just as soon as you got to get up, you got to mow it, one day, you gotta rake it the next day, sometimes you bale the next day, but most time, in real dry hay, you gotta get up, mow it one day, get up the next day, ted it, maybe twice throughout the day. Then the third day, you rake it, and hopefully bale it in the afternoon. Then the fourth day, you gotta move it all back to the farm.
Right.
So, it's like, it takes me all summer to do that. I'll do like 10 to 15 acres a day, or a session every 4, when I can get the weather, that's the big thing.
Right, yeah. And for people who haven't been to Maine this summer, the beginning of the year was exceedingly wet, and then now we've had this dry spell.
Yeah.
Did that must have complicated your
There's no second crop really. No.
Yeah.
Plus it was later getting on for the first crop, because
Right.
it was so wet,
Mhm.
couldn't get on the fields.
Right.
Without running them all up, so that started a little bit later than usual.
And so you're always, I study the weather like a scientist. every
Yeah.
morning.
right.
Morning, noon, and night,
Yeah.
he's looking at the
Because if
weather.
it rains just 5 minutes on the hay when you meet,
It ruins it.
it almost ruins it. You gotta wait another day.
Sure.
But you never get 5, 6 days in a row until this flash drought, they call it, finally.
Yeah.
And come August, if your hay starts to deteriorate, as it turns brown, that's losing its nutrients.
Sure. Right.
So you're trying to get everything done for August. And then you let August, you let your second crop grow, and you might start bailing the last week of August or September, first week of September for the second crop. But I'm not gonna get any this year. I was gonna second crop that field right down there, but everything's dried up so much, I just let my cows in it, because they need it.
You mentioned you have 3 calves. 3 calves, right?
Yeah.
Here in Maine, what's a good period of time? Do you try to cluster the pregnancies for a certain birthing in a certain time of year?
Try to get them late April, May to mid-June, like a 2 month period, so that they're all pretty much close in age.
Okay.
And because when it comes time to have them slaughtered to sell for beef, you can start when they're 18 months old to 24 months. That's a nice growing period when they're putting on the most weight.
Mm-hmm.
And after 24 months, they slow up putting weight on, so you're sort of feeding the cow and not losing money, but
Right.
not making a lot.
Understood. How difficult is it for a calf to, if they're born, but you don't permit them to get pregnant, right?
It's artificially inseminated.
Yeah, so you can pretty much
No,
guarantee, is there, because I have no idea this, is the insemination kind of guaranteed if they're inseminated?
No,
No? Okay,
probably I'd say a 70% success
okay,
ratio, so I'll have them blood tested for pregnancy after 30 days, and if they're not, you try again to
Okay.
try to, because sometimes I get calves born 5 months from when the first one was born.
all right,
And, so it's like a 70% success ratio. This
Okay.
year, I had all 3 calves born in a week. I'm cutting back slowly on cows.
Actually, didn't you have 4, one of them
One of them,
didn't
the
make
cow
it?
got mastitis.
oh,
So we did have 4 pregnant cows at the time, we only got 3 calves.
do you have any other animals on here, or is just the cows?
Just the cows.
We got 2 chickens.
2 chickens,
We had a lot more, but the fox enjoyed them,
yeah,
so.
they're pretty good about that.
Plus we can't find their eggs ever, because they're free range,
Sure,
they lay them in the hay.
they won't lay in where,
If
one
I lock
spot.
them in all day,
we don't wanna lock them in all day.
Right.
So they just run around with lamp. So they're more like
Actually, we let
pets.
them, yeah, we let them run around, and you'll see I got raspberries and stuff.
I saw the,
And, I don't have any, Japanese beetles problem at all. The chickens get them.
I'm trying to convince my wife to get a couple of chickens, but I don't think she.
They just get the grubs, they just always
Right.
looking for the
Oh
grubs.
yeah, they're.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the regenerative farming type things where you have one thing help control something else.
Right.
And
Yep.
So I like the chickens, but this year, because I've had chickens for 15 years, the
Mhm.
fox finally zoned in on me and wiped me out almost.
right.
He'd come right beside, I'd be 25 yards away, he'd go grab a chicken.
So this is kind of a loaded question, but why should somebody purchase either beef or eggs or produce or whatever from a local person?
Well, the biggest thing is, not only do you help the local farmer, but people want open spaces now. And if the farmer can't sell his beef to the locals, I mean, I have to sell it more than a supermarket, because they get beef by volume,
Mm-hmm.
and they're buying from out west, where it's done by volume. And people don't realize it, but those farmers out west with the huge feedlots, they're only making probably $200 a cow.
Mm-hmm.
That's not much, so they have to sell thousands. And where we only having 8 or 10 to sell through the year, we have to charge more to be able to get enough money to keep the farm going and to keep open space. And so you're helping people keep the farming industry going in Maine when you buy local.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the reason I like it is because number one, you know where it's coming from. You know what's in your meat, you know what's not in your meat. It's not like when you buy at Hannaford that has all that extra stuff, and it's just right here, locally grown. And it's just important, I think, whether it's vegetables, whatever it is, to know where your food's coming from.
Right.
Yeah.
And just like we're talking, you're looking the person in the eye when you're making that transaction. And I can tell you when they came and delivered the beef because when we were it was in the middle of the winter. It was in February. I can remember it. And they said, "Oh no, we'll save you a trip." And they literally brought it within 5 or 6 miles of my house. And that was the first time I met either one of you. And we talked on Facebook Messenger and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a good feeling. And to maybe add on a little bit what you said, Kathy, is when you buy beef in a grocery store, your ground beef is not going to be from one cow.
Right.
Because I've worked in a grocery store before, and to make 70% ground beef, you're going to take suet or something from another piece of meat that came off from someplace else, and by that fact, it's not going. If you're going to ground up a chuck, yeah, maybe that all becomes one bunch of
Right.
stuff for the display. And the other thing that Tom, what you were talking about, that I'd like to maybe toot your horn a little bit too, is the quality of, when you were talking about the fat, the grass-fed fat is much better. And I really am glad to find out, because this is my first time here, that you let your animals out. There's a huge, like they talk about today, how important it is for immunologically for us to get out into the sun. It's good for the cow as well, and they can store that vitamin D in the meat that we can eat.
Right. healthy reasons
Yes.
for eating locally, growing the produce. And
Yeah, like she said, you know the cow, you know what the farmer has for cows. At the grocery store, you could be getting a Holstein
Right.
thrown in for hamburger, and then they mix suet fat from some other cow, like you say, you don't know.
Exactly.
But they have to mix it to get the hamburger.
it tastes better too. That's why I say.
I absolutely astounded at how good. Well, we wouldn't have ordered a second one.
Right.
Um,
We usually just sell the quarters, halves.
I just don't want to be tied to
oh yeah, storing it.
storing it.
Yeah, sure.
Someone might want all
Well-
steaks, and I'm stuck with
Right.
30 or 300 pounds of hamburger, you
Mhm.
know. So I just let people take everything in their quarter or their eighth or their half, and I'm done with. I don't have to hope someone comes buys the chuck or the London broil.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for answering my questions. And is it possible to go out and have a look around?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.